I'm Sarah.
And I'm Yuju, and we're your hosts for To the Next Generation podcast.
Today we'll be interviewing Annie Nguyen, an educator in Central Texas.
Annie, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what a day in your life looks like?
Yeah, I've been a teacher for 10 years, but more recently, the last 3 years, I've been able to co-pilot the first ever Asian American Studies class in the state of Texas. It is a lot of fun. Wow, I've been doing this for a long time, so every day looks different. I wake up, I get dressed. Normally, depending on what lesson I teach, I like to dress up a certain way. So if it's a 1940s short story, I'll try to wear my closest outfit or Shakespearean outfits or whatever it may be. And then I head to school, and it changes all throughout the year depending on what's happening. Right now, I come in, if I have morning tutorials, it's usually a senior who's working on their college application essay, working with them. And then I have my AP Lit classes where we read, we write, we discuss, and do a lot of critical thinking. It's a lot of fun. And when it's my Asian American Studies class, we talk about history or we get into community circles. So every day is different, and I think that's why I love being a teacher so much, because it's chaotic, but in a fun, creative way.
Yeah. And we're also taking AP Lit right now in school, so
Yeah.
obviously it's like a really creative class. I feel like it's very free. You get to write about a lot of poems, stuff like that.
I'm glad. Bless y'all. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess we can start by talking a little bit about your educational background. So when you're in high school, college, what makes you get this job?
Yeah. So to go back a little bit, history-wise, I come from a family of educators, and so my mother was a ESL teacher and a pre-K teacher for over 32 years, and so that was always in my family. And even before that, my dad's sponsor, when he came to Vietnam as a refugee, she was an educator. His mother, my Banoi, she also an educator, so it's been pretty known in it's destiny, right? Or when you're a kid, you always want to be just like mom, right? And so I always thought I would be an educator. When I got older, I worked at my public library as a tutor, so it seemed it was going to go that pathway. I didn't know what I wanted to teach exactly. I thought elementary would be cool, but then when I was a junior in high school, I had an amazing AP Lane teacher who really challenged me, gave me my first bad grades, and I'm I really want to strive to be better. And I felt over time I got to be a better writer and examine the world more critically. And I'm I want to give that as well. And so my parents were super supportive. My dad is an HVAC person, so working on ACs, welding, whatnot. My mom, educator, and so they already took unconventional paths to begin with. At one point, I think I wanted to be a nun, and they were really happy, but it didn't work out. They were super supportive of any direction. And when I got into UT, I majored in English and kind of just stayed on that pathway. There is a UTeach program for liberal arts where basically you get to kind of test. Intern at various schools. I remember interning at Brentwood Elementary, a private Christian school, which was interesting. And then I think it's called Paredes Middle School, somewhere in Austin ISD. And then I did Westwood High School with sophomores, and then my official student teaching at Round Rock High School, where I just stayed for the rest of my time being.
So you got a diverse background.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you think your cultural background influenced your career choice?
Cultural in a way that education's super important. I think in a lot of Asian households, that is the priority. And I felt really privileged and blessed. I think that my parents were at a state of financial security, and my mom within the school system kind of understood how education should ideally work, that I never felt so much pressure And I know a lot of my Vietnamese friends did, and like all of them were pushed towards like the STEM field. So I was very fortunate that I don't think I ever felt obligated to.
That's good.
Yeah. I know it's a very uncommon thing.
Yeah, that's good.
But I understand it, and I could feel it around me. But no, it's just like I think a respect for education. I think, especially coming from a family of like refugees, I feel like I see two sides of the spectrums of that. Either family members not wanting to talk about that at all and like shoving that deep down somewhere, or like storytelling is important and you keep your history alive. And so I feel like that aspect is coming out a little bit more now that I've been teaching Asian American Studies, because that's like a key component of that course. So other than that, not that I know of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So you're saying your parents migrated from Vietnam?
Yes.
So were you born here?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
So whenever it was the fall of Saigon, my dad was in the Navy at the time, and so he just like literally got left on the ship, and my mother and her family were waiting for the right time to get on a boat and leave, and so she's one of the like boat people. And they stayed in camps in various places like Guam, in the Philippines, until they made it to Iowa, of all places, where they like met and eventually got together and made their way towards Texas, because my mom read an article about a Vietnamese community just kind of residing in this small town called Palacios. It's super teeny tiny, population 5,000, and they kind of settled there. My mom became an ESL teacher there, even though she like majored in something totally different, system management or something, but she always wanted to be a teacher. But whenever she made the move here, a lot of professors, a lot of teachers were like, you can't. The language barrier is going to be way too difficult. But she proved them wrong, right?
Good.
And so she found this community, and she taught like generations of Vietnamese families English. And so they settled there, and eventually had me, my brother, myself, and my younger sister.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Nice. Family of 5.
Yes.
Do you think your cultural lesson also approach like the way you teach your classes now? Not even like your like Asian American classes, but also like your English class itself.
I feel like I didn't really come to an understanding of my cultural background until more recently, gonna be honest, because like I knew that I was different in all my English classes. Like you know what it probably looks like. It's predominantly white field, studying predominantly white dead men, right? And so I don't think I really fully examined my identity so much like in college in the first few years that I started teaching, because like you're in survivor mode. You're like, I just want to get through the day. But I think like maybe into my third or fourth year teaching, especially in year 2020, I think I had an awakening of what's going on in the US, what's going on in my community, learning more about history. And even though I took an Asian American Studies class in college, like I think some of it got lost in all the like trying to survive to graduate, and then trying to those first few years teaching. But now I feel like after those first couple years, I wanted to be more intentional. I was noticing that a lot of my students came to me and said like, you're my first and only Asian teacher that I ever had. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think about that. And so being very intentional of what I decide to share about my life, so students who even aren't, a similar background have a greater understanding of the world, and then those who do look like me, like feel, seen and represented. And so in the English classrooms, at least, I try to be really diverse. I try to celebrate all the, celebratory months, but also like weave in various authors and artists that are diverse and represent the classroom, or do not represent the classroom, just to get exposure. And then Asian American Studies, like that's just embedded in it. So that's like a daily thing.
I see.
I feel like it's really important to like recognize different cultures, especially in English classes.
I like, now that I think about it, like I love storytelling in general, and I think that's how I found my way in. But realistically, none of the books I read in high school, I don't think looked like me.
Yeah. All the classics. Yeah.
Exactly.
and
I
yeah,
was the same.
I'm trying to like, I know like it's still hard to do that even today. I'm not
Yeah.
too sure how your classes are, but I'm like, okay, at least a poem,
Yeah.
right, or a piece of
Yeah.
artwork, or letting students share like an
Yeah.
artist or something like that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I feel like I've only read like maybe one or two like Asian authored books my
Yeah.
entire like career in high school.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not surprised though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
we definitely need more representation in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
so how did you come to like start these Asian American studies in your high school? Because that's like a really like completely new thing that I've ever heard. So,
Yeah,
really cool.
I didn't want to do it actually. So I know at the time I was following Asian Texans for Justice on Instagram, and like I knew what they were trying to do for Texas education. I saw like them testify for incorporating more Asian American history in our history curriculum in general, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, I'll call my representatives. And I came into contact with Dr. Mohit Mehta. He used to work at the Center for Asian American Studies at UT Austin, and we happened to, I was learning Vietnamese at the time under TripVit. It's like this nonprofit organization that used to teach like Vietnamese to people who wanted to learn Vietnamese, but also taught English to Vietnamese elders. And I was like, I loved it so much. I'm like, I'm gonna volunteer. And so I went to the first like info session for the volunteering event where I met Mohit, and that was the last time I volunteered because he caught up with me. He's like, you're a teacher, right? And we got to talking, and he was like, oh, do you know about what's happening? I'm like, yes, I've been following along. He's like, oh, we could use your help. I'm like, yeah, send me an email. And I thought it was just like, call my representative or something like that. And whenever I saw the full email from him and Lily Trill of Asian Technics for Justice, I was like, oh no. Yes, exactly. And so I left them on red for a few months, actually.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Teaching a whole class.
Yes, exactly. And something new and something not my focus. Like I
Yeah.
never really liked history classes, except for like taking that course at UT, an intro to Asian American Studies. Like way back when, I was actually intrigued. I went to an info session to maybe change my minor or my major. It never happened.
Yeah.
But I know I really enjoyed that class, but that was 10 years ago, and so I kind of forgot about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until a good friend of mine, she is part of the school board, or was part of the school board, and she was a former teacher. She called me up, and she's like, hey, my friend's been trying to reach out to you. And like I just talked it through with her for a bit, and then I realized who would do it realistically, and like could you really find an educator? Like I have like there are Asian teachers in my high school, but not unfortunately, but stereotypically it's in the STEM field, or maybe even fine arts, and so I was like, I don't think I've ever met an Asian history teacher in Texas, at least. There's plenty in California, but like I'm like, who's going to do it? And I feel like at least I'm kind of close to it. And then I was like, oh yeah, I did take that class. It was revolutionary. I almost changed my major, but I was still kind of hesitant because I was burnt out at the time. It was like my 7th year in, and I'm like, oh, do I really want to take on something else? And after talking to her, and then finally talking to my younger sister, Sarah, she actually wants me to quit education. And she just sees like the stress over time, and she's like, quit always, or like say no to any new opportunities. And she's like, you have to take it. And I'm like, what?
It's like not expecting from her.
Exactly. And she's like, well, we just got done talking about our core values. Like there's a Brene Brown thing where in her book she talks about like this list of core values, and choosing like 2 to live your life by. And I kind of went through that, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to choose these 2, and like every decision I make here on out should be aligned to those values. Otherwise, drop it. Like I don't need it. It's practicing boundaries.
It's a good philosophy.
Yes. I'm trying. It's really hard as an educator, but mine were belonging and justice at the time.
Yeah.
And she's like,
This
that's
is perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so they contacted me. I'm gonna get the years mixed up. It's either 2022 or 2023, but that winter and then the following January, I met up with my principal, the lead counselor, ATJ, Mohit was there as well, and we came to an agreement. If I got 15 kids signed up, if I had an info session, and that the guardians had they had permission from their guardians to take a non-credited class because it is a pilot class. So it would be like an office aid kind of situation or an off period.
Yeah.
Like you take the class, but you wouldn't get
Any graduation credits, yeah.
And so I advertised a whole bunch. I got student council to help me. I had a lot of students at the time that were rooting for me and wanted to see themselves represented. So they were very integral in helping out. I know during Lunar New Year they bought red envelopes and they put in little advertisements in them, and they tabled for me. So I'm really appreciative of the student council there. And I personally presented to 20 plus classes.
Wow, yeah.
My friends, my peers in my hallway I'm very thankful that they let me. So everyone teaches about 6 classes typically, and so 10 minutes every class I would sneak in at the end. Yes,
class,
exactly. And I'd bring candy with me, and I had a whole 10-minute spiel, and try to sell it as best as I could. And then we had, I think that first year, 29 students signed up for the class, and it was. There were a lot of issues, and this is a long story, so feel free to cut this down.
No worries.
I think we got towards the end of the year, and we're like, yes, we have the numbers, we have people who actually want to do this, but then funding was an issue that year.
Yeah.
Everyone was having issues, classes were getting cut. I know our debate class got cut, our AP Euro got cut. Our student leadership for student council, their class period got cut as well. So I was like, oh no, now is not the time.
Yeah.
And so I had to basically agree to lose one of my conference periods. So teach 7 classes instead of 6. Yeah, and only have 1 instead of 2 conference periods. And do
That's
it.
a lot.
I don't know why. I was I remember getting the phone call when it was my off period and a student was in the classroom, and I was talking to the principal and whatnot, and I hung up, and the student was like, "Was that good news?" Because they're I can't tell from your face. Are you happy or not? And I don't know either. I worked so hard for that class, and I know I was starting to get really anxious because I did all the things.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed, and I unfortunately started taking it personally because it is my identity. And I saw these students work so hard for it, so it was almost painful to realize I would have to sacrifice this much. But luckily, I wouldn't do it again. I'm glad I did it, but I wouldn't put myself through another class like that. That's too much work on a teacher for no pay. And so the pay actually came from ATJ. They gathered funds for me. Yes, and then the Center for Asian American Studies and Mohit came. He came almost every other day to help me with the curriculum. So I didn't feel the hours were rough. And managing all the classes and all the grading was rough, but the
support system.
Yes, exactly. And I built this beautiful community, so it was amazing. And that's basically how it came to be. Now it's funded for.
Nice.
Yes, and I don't have to teach an extra class. I can just have normal classes. So it went from 29 students. Last year was 24. Now it's 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
The numbers keep growing.
Yes.
That's great. It seems like a really community work.
Yeah.
A lot of people work their way towards it. So.
And I think that's the beautiful
students.
thing about it. I think sometimes as an educator, and especially in the school systems, y'all live years within it, like there's just this grind to like
Mm-hmm.
study and then get out and do well enough, right? But like to be part of something more community oriented was very different for me, and I felt like, oh, this is the way society should be. This is how we should be treating education. So it's very special.
Like you're learning to learn instead of just the grade.
Yes, exactly. It's more curiosity oriented and discussion based oriented, and like even getting out in the community too.
That's good.
Could you talk a little bit about like the curriculum of the classroom? Like what do you mainly teach?
For Asian American Studies?
Yes.
Okay. So again, I'm not a history person, so like I still feel a little imposter syndrome when it comes to it. But how we start the year is just like an identity unit. We talk about like our own personal identities and also what does it mean to be Asian American, the term, where did it come from. We more recently talked about the term Orientalism, like that theory. But we start there, and then we literally go in historical order. So talking about the first Asians who came to the Americas, and talking about the coolie trade, and eventually to the Chinese railroads, and that labor, and we just go in historical order, and Japanese incarceration, to more modern day events. But we weave in whatever's currently going on. So like we know that history tends to repeat itself, unfortunately. And so if anything comes up that deals with like violence or the mistreatment or exploitation of Asian Americans, many students point out like, hey,
seems familiar.
Yes, exactly. And so it's an ongoing conversation. So that's like the curriculum itself. Because it's not worth a grade right now, like I'm pretty flexible with assignments. We try to do more reflections, discussions, low stakes assignments, presentations, art pieces. We like to do creative reimaginings that are diving into specific like narratives of actual people instead of talking about things on a surface level. It's very storytelling oriented. So that's like the curriculum, but we also weave in culture and community moments. Unfortunately, the history of Asian America is heavy. It's dark, and we try our best to balance that out. And so we will celebrate the cultural celebrations that represent the students. So like we'll do the Asian ones, but like if the students want to bring their own background, we celebrated Jewish holidays before, we celebrated Mexican holidays, so it kind of depends on the makeup of the class. And so that brings joy. And sometimes we'll do community circles where we just sit in a circle, and normally I try to keep it on topic to whatever we're learning about, but like sometimes they just want to talk about what's their favorite dinosaur or whatever, and kind of have a fun break. And so we have a lot of moments. A lot of students say that they actually know everyone's name in the class and know their history. We also do ancestor acknowledgements, which basically students sign up a day on the calendar to kind of like show and tell about their family, whether that is like biological or chosen, and they like give a little presentation. And so and it forces students to talk to their families and get to know their
learn about their identity. It's like a big friend group.
It's really, really nice. Like the first 2 days of this year, former students came back. I think I had 3 former students come back, and they brought gifts for the class. They brought 85-degree baked goods and Yakult and some other goodies just because like that's how much they love the class. And we always have a lot of food there. I think that's one of my advertising tactics.
It seems like a little family group.
Exactly.
Yeah, food is an important part in our culture too, I think.
We were looking at your curriculum, and I was seeing that it was like Punjabi Mexican.
Yes.
And I've never even heard of that, and I'm half Punjabi, and I was like, wow, a lot of like things that we learn in our history class, like we never even touch on like our history.
No, and like that's part of Texas history too. So you would think like we would learn more, and I didn't know about that
Yeah.
until this class.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's a documentary called Sea Drift. It's actually close to my hometown. It's a coastal town where Vietnamese refugees came and kind of settled and got into shrimping. And there was a clash, though, of the people who were already there versus like these new folks coming in, and like, you know, so much that there was like shooting, I think a murder, and then the KKK got involved, and I'm like,
we never learned
yes,
this.
exactly,
Yeah.
and
It's so close to like where you grew up.
Yes.
You would think they mentioned it.
and then so like my students were like asking their parents, did you hear about this growing up? And like parents would be like, no, or like maybe, and they'll look into it, and so not only they are learning, but they're telling their families. One recently that we learned at Texas, Asian American history. It's more current. I'll send you the information too about it. There's a documentary called A Town Called Victoria. That's also kind of nearby where I used to live, and it has a Muslim population. And during when Trump did the Muslim ban during his first term, quickly after that, a mosque suddenly burned down.
Oh my god.
In that town, And I was like, we live so close to there. I asked my mom, did you hear about this?
Yeah.
She's like, no. And so, like, it wasn't too many years ago.
Yeah, it's very recent.
Yeah. And so there's a documentary over it, and ATJ and the Center for Asian American Studies, and I think the College of Education at UT, they're hosting a Asian American Studies Academy, where they're inviting educators to learn about that stuff, specifically that more recent documentary, and they also are inviting students to learn too. So
cool.
I'll send y'all the
definitely,
information so that y'all, if y'all want to watch the documentary
Yeah.
or learn more about that
for
Texas
sure.
history.
That sounds really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, and it's tragic, but
Yeah.
I want to know
I don't know what
what's
happened.
happening
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Especially.
I agree.
Yeah. I guess I want to ask about like your diversity in your classroom. Like, I know even though it's like more focused on Asian Americans, do other people who doesn't have that background also join your class?
Yes, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's for all students, right? Like, technically in the state of Texas, we have Mexican American Studies, African American Studies available as ethnic studies classes. Not at my school currently, and I think right now our friends with the American Indian Native Studies are making their way to get their class approved. So we're like right behind them. And I feel like I would love to take any of those classes, right? It's just, you're basically learning more about history, but in a more close lens and more specific narratives, right? And so I get a lot of students who just love history.
Yeah.
Like all those history nerds like are there, or students who love just being curious about other people. So the demographics aren't very, they're maybe half Asian, half like white and black and Hispanic. So it's a good sprinkle of everyone. I think it's also students who want a different type of education. They realize like, oh, like we do a lot of, I like post all the artwork outside in the hallway. Like, oh, this is cool stuff. We can make projects. We can like go out and go on a field trip and like learn in different ways. So I think it's for students who want something new in education. And some of them just come for the food, I think, or they like the connection with UT. And so, I brag about like all the connections I've been able to make, and so hopefully they get to make connections. So I think it's just students who have time in their schedule, they love history, they want to see their history represented, or even, I think they just want to be with their friends.
Yeah.
Like they're smart and they're like, there's only one class.
So I know. Yeah, I think that's important though. Like, not only Asian people are taking the class, but also people of different backgrounds, so you get more like exposure.
It's for everyone, right?
Agree.
Like, Asian American history is American history, right? And a lot of students will say, like, I like polling the class, like, did you learn about this in your history classes? And they're like, it was a paragraph.
Exactly.
And so just getting to dive into the nuances more.
Yeah.
I think I like history more now that I went
Yeah.
into these details and see myself represented.
Yeah, it's like more relatable to you.
Mhm.
It's like,
Because
yeah.
I never liked it in high school.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I took like zero history classes in high school, so
It's all
it's
online.
like, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so your class is currently not, I guess it's still an uncredited class.
Mhm.
So what are like the next steps with that?
So we've done it, we're working on the third year now, and the goal is to gather data and to submit an application to the State Board of Education. This is not my expertise, but Mohit has been working on the application. We're trying to prove like this class is meaningful, like look at all these students and where they end up going to college, how they say it has helped them be more prepared for college with the because a lot of people could say it's a blow-off class, right? It's just an elective, but realistically they're having very difficult conversations all the time that you normally have in a college classroom, a seminar. They are researching, they are diving into their own histories, or doing complicated research about topics that normally don't get touched upon. And so we're gathering all that data, and hopefully at some point soon we apply.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works from there, but like we hope that it kind of goes through the process. I do know like there's this pilot portion of it, you apply, there's what you call innovative course status. That's currently where the Native Studies group is right now. It's like an in-between space where you get credit, but it's not official. And then once you do that for a few years, you can have it's like a full-on elective,
It's like an official class.
that any classroom in Texas could, if a teacher wanted to pick it up, they could teach it and be credited.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Yeah.
It just takes some time for that to happen, I
Yes,
guess.
and it's time, and there are some politics involved too. I went to my first State Board of Education meeting this past summer because all of our histories are intertwined.
Yeah.
And I wanted to support the Native Studies class because they were going to be sunsetted. Basically, they have innovative course status, but the board didn't renew it, and so that means they would just be back to pilot course. And so I showed up and testified with so many other great people, but it was a debate, just with politics going on, and I think some misunderstanding of what the class actually entails. And watching that was interesting. It's just interesting how people view a history class. It's just a history class.
Yeah, it's interesting that there's backlash about it, because it's we're just trying to learn about our history.
It was hard, and I think that was another reason why I didn't want to take on the class. I felt like, unfortunately, some of my experience as an English teacher, being Asian American, also being perceived as younger, I think I received some distrust in grading, or nothing ever came up to this, but a lot of sometimes parents, I'd have the most conferences with parents, and even though I studied this, I'm very confident in this, we're all teaching the same stuff anyway. Why am I having to meet with so many parents about grades? So because of that, I felt like there was already a target.
It's an unspoken thing, but you can feel it.
It's microaggressions too. I'm the only teacher who gets asked oh, where are you from? And I'm I'm from here. So I was kind of scared, because I'm if, unfortunately, I realized people are going to misunderstand this class. And then I'm will I be a target? And I don't know how your school's board meetings are, but in Round Rock, around that time, things have been very different.
Mm.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense,
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me. Whenever I think of Round Rock, I guess I always think of like a lot of Asian people. So I guess I never thought that, because like we go to Westlake, so from my perspective, it's just like I know more like Indian and Asian people there, but like there's a lot of like two sides.
Yeah, and that's crazy because I've been teaching here for 10 years, and like the Asian population has been booming from like when I first started teaching. I'd only have like a handful of students, and now it's like a majority of some of my classes. And so, yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because like it is a suburb of Austin, and so sometimes it tends to be more conservative leaning, but no, the population the current population of it, like this class is definitely reflects it, and we should have it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about like we saw an interview, I think it was with Mohit,
Yeah.
and then you guys were talking about how a big reason for starting the course was because of like an increase of anti-Asian hate in COVID. Do you think that's something that inspired you to start talking about it, or just like was that ATJ?
Definitely ATJ. Like
Yeah.
I think that was their like that rally that they held. That was like the birth of them. But I do think, like I said earlier, like I think around 2020 that awakening was happening, and like I was being more aware of my own identity, and like certain incidences I was having with parents with my teaching or how I taught. It kind of made more sense to me, and just seeing all that unravel, it shouldn't be happening to anyone. And just realizing, oh, this has historically been happening, and depending on whoever's considered, a threat at the time. And I think that awakening helped me realize, like, I want a more just society. I don't want to look on my phone anymore and see more of this madness and this violence, and this, it's just not, it's not just to me. It's not right. And so I do think that played a part in a way. Like, if I know that on the surface level I was like more about survival, boundaries, but like when you go deep down, realizing the span of history, and especially currently, what was going on. I was at that protest that ATJ hosted. My sister and I went, and we were like rejuvenated and felt like community there. And so I think technically, yes. And I know a lot of students, that's where their own activism kind of started as well. I don't know how old were y'all when that started?
That was like 12.
12.
Yeah. But
Like
you had
12,
like
13.
you had that awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
And so.
I mean, I was like living in New York at that time, so
Oh wow.
so I lived in a small town in New York, but I guess we were more liberal, especially at that point. But then I moved here, and I guess it was like a different shift. Yeah.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have that perspective.
Yeah.
Though, 'cause like you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm glad you're bringing that here.
In terms of the future, do you have any, like, where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? Not just with the Asian American class, but also like as an English teacher, or just personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think about this because like this is all I ever wanted. I mean, I didn't want Asian American studies, but now I realize this is all I ever wanted. Is like I love education so much. I mean, there's a lot of burnout and a lot of grading, and the pay's not well. There's the way we treat education in Texas and the United States is kind of concerning, especially with these bills that are going to come into effect in September. So yeah, there's a lot of downsides of this, but I really do love what I do, and the students. I think that's why I like the job the most, is like seeing the students. Like, y'all are so much fun. Y'all are passionate about things. You're starting cool projects. Like, it just gives me hope. Like, kids are reading. Like, the kids will be fine. I have a lot of hope for the future, and I just want to foster whatever I can to support y'all. So I hope I'm still teaching. And I hope the Asian American Studies goes through. I don't know where exactly, like, my life trajectory will go. Like, my partner and I recently got engaged, and like, yay, thank you. And I would hope that we would want to start a family
Yeah.
in the near future. Sounds like so much work. But I would love to raise a family, but I also always wanted to teach dual credit. So like getting my master's in English so I can teach those classes, but maybe like now Asian American Studies because I'm interested in it. No matter where I end up though, I think I'll always be tied to education.
Yeah.
Like I still want to be involved with that.
Yeah.
Like it's a
Yeah.
part of me at this
Yeah.
point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's great.
You got a lot of big goals, big plans. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the classroom for now.
Yeah.
Though.
That makes sense.
And specifically for the Asian American studies that you're teaching, like, do you have any more specific goals for that course?
I want it to happen elsewhere, right? Like the Asian American Studies Academy that I was mentioning earlier, they're inviting a lot of teachers from across Texas to learn about it, and you know, a lot of teachers do become interested, but it's a lot of work, right? But like, and whenever I first was approached, I was like, oh, they'll find a teacher in Dallas, they'll find a teacher in Houston, and it didn't play out, right? And so I'm hoping like it continues to spread and more teachers are willing to take it on, more students wanting to take it and advocate for it, because like just it being at my high school,
It's like a small.
and all students deserve classes like this. So my goal is to reach as many people as possible about this class so that they can maybe realize like, oh, we can do it too. And that's helpful when we get it into innovative course status, right? A lot of students say that like having it as credit might be more of a reason to take it, although I think it's a good reason sometimes. Like all the students know it's not for a credit, but
They're there by choice.
Yes, exactly. I've never had that before, and it's like
it's just like English, like everyone's taking it to graduate.
Yes, they're forced to be there, and like they don't necessarily love English, whereas here, like they wanted to be there. But regardless, I just want more students exposed. I feel like if I had gotten this class earlier on, things would have been so much different in my perception of the world.
The way you perceived history.
Yes, and how I act. I know, like, unfortunately, a lot of Asian Americans aren't very civically engaged. There's this like sense of like the model minority myth or invisibility or like staying low. But I think if I had learned like, oh, Asian Americans have always like fought back and like made so many progresses and been here for years, right? And like wanting to be more visible, wanting to show up and do as much as we can for each other.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, I feel like you don't ever hear about that.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's hard because like, you know, we're all just trying to survive too. I think you don't know what you don't know, and like once you take a class like that, you're like, oh, all of this makes sense now. And then you do what you can from there.
Yes.
So I was gonna say, it's good that like you had a great, so your parents were very supportive. But do you have any advice you would give to a student who's thinking of pursuing a more untraditional career?
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I was, you know, very privileged in that, and so I think it depends on where you're at, like financially. Unfortunately, that's how it works. But I highly recommend exploring, like doing research, looking out there, listening to podcasts about people featuring cool, unconventional like jobs, and just know that you don't have to stick to a certain narrative. It doesn't have to be doctor, lawyer, engineer. And if you do, that's totally fine, but like your happiness is so important. Finding something that you find like actual joy and you want to learn more out of wanting to just learn more. Because I know like when you're a child, you usually get fixated on something, right? Like bugs or like dinosaurs. Everyone wants to be a marine biologist at some point, right? Finding something that makes you feel that kind of kid curiosity. I think that would be ideal. And I know that's not the case for everyone because of what, you know, situations are going on with each individual, finances and then like family support and whatnot. But I I also think find your people. There are people there who want to support you. There's people there who's handing out a lot of money for you to explore new things too. And so, yeah, look around, see who's already like doing the work, who's already, you know, into what you're into, and join and make connections, network. And you'll find people that will support you in what you're doing, even though you may not have family support. They're educators, they're academics, they're cool community leaders who will like uplift you. Yeah, a lot of people are rooting for the youth, and so yeah, just explore and find your people, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good, great advice. Yeah.
And I feel like it's like never too late to like change what you want to do.
Yes.
Like the way you became like a history teacher, like way after you like were all into English,
Yes.
taking all the English courses.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, and like it's okay to like learning and growth, and you as an adult, it's not linear at all, and like embracing failure, embracing messiness, have that exploration period so that like it doesn't have to be a straight trajectory. It's not going to be that anyway. So like embracing like whatever comes your pathway, and yeah, knowing that you can take on whatever as long as you have like support, and as long as you're passionate about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, this is so unrelated,
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
I was just looking at your tattoo.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about it? I thought it looks cool.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
My mom would hates it. But have you been to the Blanton Museum near UT Austin?
Our friend like
I
loves it.
I've been there, yeah.
That Ellsworth Kelly, that like chapel building right next to it, there's this white building that you like walk in, and it has these beautiful rainbow stained glass windows.
Oh, yeah.
And this was the tattoo artist's like depiction of it. But I'm not that. Maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast because my mom will listen to it. I'm like not that religious, but when I'm in that space, I feel something. I feel spiritual. I highly recommend going in, and sometimes when the sun is hitting, the way the light reflects onto the building, it's gorgeous. And I love that museum. When I was at UT, I was like there all the time.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no,
So,
you're
no,
good.
I was just like, yeah.
No, it's beautiful, and it's named
That is
Austin
beautiful.
too, so I feel like it's like a core part of
Connection,
me.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it like provides you like a sense of like support and
Yeah.
comfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like it was on a flash sheet for the artist, and so once someone took it, like she wouldn't do it like it anymore. I was like, okay, do I need to take the leap and just get it?
Yeah.
And I did, and my mom was not happy.
It looks
No,
cool,
it's-
so yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
But the way you like mentioned museum, and also you said like, oh, you like draw a lot in your classroom, like it seems like you're really like into like that perspective as well, like
Yeah.
the art side.
Now that you're bringing that up, like I think in my classrooms, because I knew I wanted to teach, but like I didn't really know what subject yet until that English teacher came around. But I think in all my English classes, I loved the creative projects that we were able to weave in. With other subjects, it's not as easy.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, if you ever come to visit, and you're welcome to come visit my classroom anytime. If you want to check out the class even, it's in the mornings. But my room is like decked out in like student artwork, my own artwork, and I just like embracing creativity because I feel like it brings back that childhood spark and curiosity.
That's great.
We love the arts.
Yes.
It's adding some color to the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you're deserving of it. Y'all need it.
Cool. I wish I went to Round Rock now. I could take your class. Yeah.
You can come visit
Yeah.
anytime. I'll let you know any updates if we ever have to testify at the State Board of Education, and like meet y'all at the Capitol if y'all want
That'd be
to
cool. Yeah, we definitely
testify for the
yeah.
class. If we get that far.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any more questions yet.
I don't think so. I just want to say I really admire you for like doing this work, and like you like said you hesitated at first to like take that course because of like the way people perceive you and everything, but even so you kind of like risked yourself to like be at the place you are now, and I'm really glad that it worked out really well.
Oh, thank you. I'm really thankful because like I feel like it changed my life. Like this class, and like burnout was approaching, and like it just totally rejuvenated me. It was very revolutionary, and like if I were to reimagine what education should look like, and I've been doing this for years, right? And I thought I'm doing a pretty good job, but it would look like that class. Yeah, like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad like things came into place, and I'm very glad I had the support of students and friends and family, and UT Austin and ATJ for being so supportive.
Exactly.
And y'all too,
Yeah.
for, like, amplifying this class and amplifying like these awesome people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. We would love to.
It was really inspiring to learn about Annie and how she integrated her culture into her career. Thank you so much for listening in, and stay tuned for our next podcast. Bye!